Here we are again, and as we go through this course, I want you to think using the ideas of generations and evidence-based. I want you to think and prepare. When we go through this process, you're going to learn how to build new thoughts and new thinking. A friend of mine was speaking for me at a large event. We had 450 business leaders in that event. And he stood up and said, "Who would like to take a risky undertaking with an uncertain outcome?" Now, there's bankers and oil men and all sorts of lawyers and judges, all sorts of people, sports figures in this event. When he asked that question, who wants to undertake a risky undertaking with an uncertain outcome, no one raised their hand except for me. And that's how I met this gentleman, who's quite a successful millionaire. But then he said, "Here, that's the dictionary definition of an adventure." As you go through this course, you don't know what the outcome is going to be in your life. And it's a little bit risky because I'm asking you to change your thinking into something that's more productive, that's less unpredictable. But it's an adventure getting there. And who's going to work with us along the way? You're going to leave some discussion points, and some people are going to respond to you. We'll get your response. Anything you put out there, we will respond to it. They're healed and healing healers. No super professionals here. Professionals, yes. But there's no perfect people. We're just healed and healing healers. People who've come through life and are still living through life just like you. Only maybe a little bit more successful, and you can teach us too. Now I want you to take a look at this. Tell me what it is. What is it? It's a crime scene, right? And that's what our lives look like. Every one of us have some crime scene moments in our life. Maybe it didn't kill us, but we felt like it. Possibly someone abused you. Possibly someone hurt you. Possibly you did something that really messed up the future of your life. We all have crime scene. I know in my particular life, I think back to some of the moments of my dad's story. My dad was born an orphan, adopted. Those parents at 2 years old divorced. And then his mom had a series of men. She married one of them. He was a very violent and abusive man. And as we can understand, at 9 years old, my dad comes home, and his stepdad's standing there and said, "Your dog's dead. Oh, by the way, so's your mother." Now, that's a hard moment for a 9-year-old. He's already been through a lot of abuse and rejection. And then his family picks him up, and he goes back, and he lives with uncles and aunts and cousins. And then a few years later, it gets sketchy at this point. He goes back to the man who left when he was 2. He thought he was his biological dad. He didn't know he was adopted. And that man raised him somewhat. My dad kind of raised himself on the streets of Tulsa between 12 and 15. And then he died. Again, rejection. Again, life giving him a hard deck of cards. Goes down. It's 1942. Lies to the military. Doesn't have a birth certificate. Tells him he's 17. Celebrates his 16th birthday face down on a minefield on Normandy Beach 6 days into the D-Day invasion. That's a rough start. There's a lot of crime scene in there that we don't know anything about. And my dad held a lot of those things and didn't tell those stories until he was late in life. And I think about that, and I think, what if somebody had come alongside my dad? I'm coming alongside you. What if somebody had come alongside me when I was young? My kids would have had a better start, and then my grandkids would have a better start. Now, my kids got a good start. I got a good start. My dad poured himself into his family, did the best he could. Given what he was given, he even went beyond, way beyond what he was handed, what he was dealt in life. But we all have crime scenes, and I don't want you to discount those crime scenes, but I don't want them to define you. As a friend of mine said, "My past refines me, it does not define me." Let me say that again. My past refines me. It does not define me. And just a little bit more here before we get into the next section. This section is about getting yourself prepared for an adventure, making sure you understand your past can refine you, not define you. And then focusing on connections. It's been my observation through a lot of study that there's 10 items that need to stay in balance. Our spiritual connection, our emotional fitness, our financial foundations, our job and career, personal development, relational safety and stability, supportive community, rest and relaxation, and destiny and contribution. Now, there's some numbers on there that at this point, I don't want you to pay too much attention to, because as we go through this course, I'm going to ask you to prioritize where you are today, because our priorities over time change. But my priorities for years have been, first, my spiritual connection, second, my supportive community, my family, my friends, the community people I have a relationship with. Third, my destiny and contribution. That's a little more important to me today than it has been in the past, just maybe due to age. And then I think about relational safety and stability and emotional fitness and health and wellness. And you may have a different list of priorities, and you'll work through this and build your list of priorities. But all 10 need to stay in balance. And that's the point I want you to know today. So it's about think, it's about using the ideas of generation and evidence. And we're going to get right into the next lesson to learning core components of what it means to think, core definitions.